Well, hello and welcome back. We're continuing to talk about the Shew collection, which you see here. The previous video had information about the newspapers themselves and how we worked with them. Today we're working with the rolls of paper you see in the boxes sitting on the floor. This is from the Lincoln Herald print shop, and they did a lot of projects for people around town, and we'll see many of those. I'll eventually get around to doing several slideshows to show you what we found in these rolls, and we have some new rolls that we'll be dissecting on video so that you can see how we go through them and identify the contents and what we do to work with them. This roll is actually labeled as advertising copy from March 30th through May of 1900. I don't know what date it ended, but these were sometimes identified. Many times they were not, because the outer paper had already disintegrated and fallen off. As you can see that this one's fallen apart too. Okay, if you look here, you can see some kind of business card. We can see the back side of it, but it's business card size, so it's a small item. And over here you see some smaller stuff. And obviously it's going to need cleaning when we get it all out of there. But the first thing I did was to open it up and get it separated. And if things were really bad with dirt or they were badly damaged, they went into the recycle bin right away. A little closer look at the advertising label here. And there's what we got out of that roll. Just a lot of smaller rolls. So to be able to make these useful, they have to be flattened and cleaned and humidified and sanitized. Sanitizing being the key word here. And you'll see later in this video how that's done. Here is my setup for doing all of that. The large ledger book here, and that's a very heavy ledger book, is on top of some items that were already sanitized, humidified, and laid flat. And then the pressure was put on with the book. And here it is from a different angle. I had to get on a kitchen step stool to get up here on top of the file cabinets to be able to work with this. And the top thing you see here is a piece of glass that's on there to hold all this together while I put that heavy book on there, because sliding that book around after getting it up there would have wrinkled or rolled that stuff again, so we didn't want that to happen. And then we just started stacking it, and there's a separator sheet between each layer to help pull the humidity out of the item as it's being pressed. And we have several layers of that stuff here, and you can see that it's all laying rather flat now. And then we get to the box. And in the box, this is our humidification chamber. In the bottom there's water. And it's been in here at least, these papers have been in here at least 3 days. It takes a minimum of that long to have the Lysol work. Okay, these two big papers here are, let me go back here, are posters. Of course, you couldn't lay them out full size because of the size of the box and the size of the paper. So we left them folded until this point. and those are taken out, and you can see what's underneath of that is some pretty dirty stuff, and lots of unusual folds and curls, and we had to work to get that all flattened out as we took it out of the humidifier here. But there's one of those public sale posters for Ed Kern, and or Kern. The German pronunciation of that would be Kern. And we have livestock sale for this particular, and some farm implements in here as well. But look at this, you get free lunch and hot coffee at noon. So a lot of draws to that sale. And we put our absorbing layer on, and we get the next set of stuff out. And this is that stuff that was so badly folded up in there. Two small things laid out pretty good, and the separator sheets will help keep curls like this down. But this one I had to smooth it out with my hands first, which meant I had gloves on to be able to do that, so I didn't get in contact with with that dirt, because that dirt was at least 120 years old, and it could have been as much as 140 years old. But this was for A.N. Conroy, and it told us that he was a dealer in general merchandise, groceries, boots and shoes, clothing, school supplies, and medicines. And this is for 1899. Looks like January 20th. And trying to see, it's Harness, Illinois. Harness was an area in Logan County, but it was not a formal town. It was what was called a boom town. They laid it out. They had all of the, they had all of the plats and everything for it, but it never became a town. There were several of those in Logan County, those boom towns. Okay, we have some more. This was W.P. Wakeman. This is Lincoln Gas Company, and some communications. There's that Ed Kern. So this is the list of items he wanted in the poster. It's always nice to have the written version as well as the finished version. And these are Wakeman ads. So he's got the ads all lined out here, and he used his own letterhead to do that. And some more of the Wakeman stuff. And then we put the glass back on, and then we put the book back on. Alright, then we start, go back to the box here, and we take the basket out. The basket, it was perforated to help circulation of the air and the humidity and the Lysol. The white thing you see in here is the top of a styrofoam cooler, and this acted as a float to float all this stuff on the water. And there's the concentrated Lysol. You can get it about any store where they have cleaning supplies. I used to get it at Ace Hardware, and then I saw it at Walmart. And just a cap full of that, and a couple quarts of water to liquefy it even more. And I tried to use warm water at the beginning so that the molecules of water got into the air quicker. Then put the styrofoam back in, put the basket back in, and then I put as many items in this thing as I could. So there's that box of little scrolls again, and I just put the scrolls in end on. If a couple of them fit inside each other, like this one here, I did that. But they had to be shorter than the lid of the humidifier would be, or you'd be crushing them. So that lid was put back on there and it sat there for 3 days before I came back to it to start over again. And here's another one of those rolls. This one was a Supreme Court case. So some attorney in town, I don't know if the attorney was Clark or the case was Clark, but it was September 30th, 1899, and the attorney wanted the print shop to produce the brief that he was going to provide for the Supreme Court justices to be able to read and follow along as he was presenting his case. So that's another look at that, and it's just expanded so you can see how big it is compared to that box. It was pretty good size. This one is the Charitable Observer of April 1900, and the Charitable Observer was a newspaper completed by the state school. Actually, back then it was the Asylum for Feeble-Minded Children. Its full name was the Illinois Asylum for Feeble-Minded Children. And the superintendent of the institution would bring in little notes, and that's what's in here are all those notes from him, and also the guy that superintended the farm, the colony as we knew it, and found out from this paper that farm had a name, and it was called the Upland Farm. So it was formally named, and it was, that title was used in these papers all the time. Well, that gives us a look at what the contents of these rolls are, or were, because I've gone through all of those for sure from 6 years ago. But we have more. Nice folks over at, but they found this stuff and gave us what they found, and we're always appreciative of people that recognize things that could be historically valuable to Lincoln or Logan County. Sorrento's Pizza, that's what I was looking for. Brain doesn't always work every day. So we have some more of these, and we're going to go through them on with a video. So you'll see me unwrap them and work with them. And that's enough for today, I guess. We'll pin this to some other items I've got to share with you. Well, we're going to take a look on the inside of these boxes that say acid-free on them. And you can see that they are filled with file folders. We have hundreds of them in here. This is the paper size, 8.5 by 11 folders that hold the smaller items. So if we look at the Cadwalader stuff here, we have shipping device or a shipping label, and we have a request from A.D. Cadwalader for postcards with this information on it for the state Supreme Court, where he was one of the clerks at that office. And then these shipping labels that that court used to send materials out to each of the justices. And then he had notes on the back giving directions on what needed to happen with this stuff. In the next box, we have the legal size folders. And here we have, again, everything in alphabetical order. This first one here is from Etna Township. So let's get something of a look here on what this was about. And here we have township records showing expenses and ads they put in paper to get quotes and official ballot information and all kinds of information on Etna Township. So there's a ballot right there for the Republican side anyway. And then we have other, close that, I want to show you one of my favorites. And if we look back in here, we get into Lincoln, Lawndale, Lincoln City, Lincoln Herald. Well, where'd that go? It was here. Oh, I know what it was. It was C's. It was C's. Cork. Well, it was in there. I think I put it away. It was in the other fold, in the other box. Well, we'll have to do that part over again. But I wanted to show you here that we got more of the rolls to go through. These came from Sorrento folks. They recognized that this was similar to what the Shews gave us, same building, and it was found again in a closed off area, and they decided that we needed it more than they did. So we're going to have some adventures opening these things and trying to find the nice things that we've got over here and over here. But I'm going to make a quick clip on this other box and we'll take another look at the files. Here's one of my favorite files from the Shew collection. And in here we're going to see that we have stuff from the Cork-Faced Collar Company in Lincoln. And they made horse collars, mule collars, yoke collars for oxen, things of that sort. But we have envelopes in here. We have advertising in here, order forms. And back in here, and right here, let's take a look at this one right here. It shows us the types of collars that they were making. So we have, I think we can open that up, if I remember right. Yeah. So you can see all the types of collars that were made by the Cork-Faced Collar Company in Lincoln. It's just the coolest thing to find because you hear things about the collar factory over the years, and now we've got a bunch of documentation here to show exactly what it is they worked with. So maybe we'll do a video just on the Cork-Faced Collar Company one of these days. But these are a treasure for Lincoln and Logan County. So thank you for stopping by. We'll talk to you next time. Let's go back over here to this box. This box shows us what the rolls look like that I got all of this other stuff out of that we were just looking at. And it took a number of years and a lot of cleaning and a lot of sanitizing and a lot of humidifying to get them to lay flat. And you'll see that in some of the videos that are coming up. So you take care, and we'll talk to you later.